Makomborero Mark Madzinga is a pianist, teacher, band director, producer, songwriter, and owner of Destiny Music and Entertainment. Mark believes in creating music from the heart that inspires hope, gives encouragement, and strengthens people's faith. Having experienced loss and grief with the untimely passing of his beloved wife, Mark has had to overcome dark times and show up for the role of a lifetime, being a single father to his baby girl Glory.
Hey guys, welcome to the Medorange Father's Day special. My name is Bulat Kacher and today I'm joined by Mark Madzinga. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
You know, what's crazy is we stay in the same building, so, I feel like I'm talking to my friend. Are we friends?
Yeah.
No, we're friends.
Yeah.
Alright, so first of all, you are a big deal. You are a big deal to me and those who know you. But do you mind telling us who you are as Mark Madzinga?
I'm a musician. I make music for a living. I'm a father to one daughter. And yeah, that's pretty much summing up who Mark Madzinga is.
Okay, so I can see you're being humble and modest there, but you're a big deal because you were ranked the best keyboardist in Zimbabwe, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, that was for 2020, which is last year.
And you're going to do it again anyway.
Oh, well, who knows?
Okay, that's totally fine. And you did mention that you're a father of one, right? And I believe her name is Glory. Right? Why the name Glory? If you don't mind me asking, that is.
Yeah, well, we debated a lot with her mom. She gave her Zulu name, which is Fezo Puhle, which means accomplished greatness.
Oh, nice.
And for me, the name Glory was just ringing in my head. She's my glory, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's pretty good. So, how has it been being a father, though?
It's been interesting. You get to see this little being for the first time, and you're like, okay, this came out of me, or not. Not in the sense that I actually delivered the baby, but yeah, she's a part of me, and she grows from being the size of a little bottle to being like a whole being with opinions and stuff. So it's a journey. You grow with each stage, just like with school. You graduate from preschool to primary school and high school. It's the same thing with fatherhood. You get to experience her first poop, first diaper change, the first time she says papa and stuff like that. So there's always something to look forward to each day. She surprises you with each stage.
I wonder, what was her first word?
I think it was papa, because I do remember that she didn't call mama first.
All right.
You
just gotta put it out
yeah,
there. It wasn't mama first.
Yeah,
It's
and
usually
she's
mama.
not here to deny or
it.
accept, but yeah. Yeah, I guess I was the privileged one.
So does that make you Glory's best friend? Because I know that father-daughter connection thing. Do you guys have that going on?
It was always there. Her mother was with us for the first 2 years, and for her, she was more the scolding type. She would always scold her for something, and I would always be the one to, spoil her and give
So
her
good cop, bad cop, but
Yeah.
mom was always bad cop?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I'm glad to see you go through it because I know she passed away. Was it 2020?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And you've been strong through it. May her soul rest in peace. But you've been strong through it. And what was that like for Glory? Does she understand what's been going on?
Initially, it was a bit of a difficult time for her because she was a very quiet child. She was reserved. She didn't want to be with anyone else except for the two of us and nanny then. So she found it very difficult to understand when her mother had to be hospitalized and she wasn't there. And then whenever she came back, she wasn't strong enough to carry her or to play with her. She would usually do so. She was confused by that. And there was also a time where she would move from, because I have a lot of sisters, she would move from one sister to the next. And I think it was a bit confusing for her until my sister Matilda then took her in, and now she's got a bit of stability in that home, and she knows she's a part of that home. So it's been a journey, and you get to hear some of, because I don't live with them, you get to hear some of the things she says about her mother, because she calls my sister Mama, but she also does say she knows and Nomfundo was a mother, or is a mother, and then she accepts that she's got two mothers. So it's refreshing knowing that she understands something about it, because sometimes we assume that kids don't know.
They don't know, but they actually.
But yeah, she knows that her mother is in heaven, and yeah, she's got my sister now to take care of her.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And obviously, you being into music, I'm also into entertainment. I know music can be demanding.
Yeah.
How have you managed that? You know, just juggling the role between being a dad and, you know, the music and everything else that you do. Like, that must be a lot, because, I mean, you can stay in the studio up until 2, 3 a.m. You know, how do you juggle the time and, you know, still being able to give time to your daughter and, you know, still keeping that connection? Because obviously, you know, with already one parent not there, you know, you don't obviously want to leave that gap for her to actually notice that, you know, there's a big gap here. How do you juggle that?
So I'm blessed to have the sisters that I have. They've been doing a great job of making sure Gloria has everything that she needs. She stays with Matilda and Amanda, who spends more time with her. And they're always calling on me whenever she needs any extra attention, like taking her to the doctors or anything along those lines. But generally, they actually live like 3 k's from where I stay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm there like a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm always stopping by or taking her from school and stuff like that. So she knows that I come in and go. There were obviously times during the first couple of months where she would cry every time I'm leaving, so sometimes I'd even wait for her to fall asleep for me to then leave.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of transitioned into this routine where she knows I come and go, and then whenever I can take her, I come in and take her. So the balancing has not been too difficult, especially because they are not very far away. And I guess I'm just doing the best I can. And my sisters they get to pick up the slack for times when I'm traveling or things like that.
So my question, right, this is a burning question. I've always wondered, how does it feel? Has Glory done this to you where at first she used to cry, you know, and, you know, she wants you there, and then one time you get there, she's like, okay, bye Dad, and then you're like, wait, what is going on?
Right. That has happened, definitely. So you find that kids have things that, you know, like nowadays there's technology and they get to watch YouTube and stuff. And she's always loved Baby Shark. And so, yeah, funny enough.
Shark.
Like when she was 3, she actually said to me, I want a green Baby Shark cake.
Uh-oh.
And she got her green
Baby Shark cake.
So yeah, there were times when you would expect that she wants me there. And then you're like saying bye, and then she's like, okay, yeah, bye.
See you later.
And you're like, can't you notice that I'm going?
I'm leaving, like,
I'm actually going, and you have to tell her again, bye.
See you tomorrow.
Like, yeah, bye. So, yeah, that has happened, but I know that I can always see her again. No, and my sister blesses me with pictures of her randomly doing something funny, or videos of her dancing and stuff like that. So yeah.
Great, that's good to know, because for me, I've seen my friends, you know, that don't stay with their kids, and then they get there and they're expecting the kid to like, oh, okay, Dad, I'm going to miss you, but the kid just says bye, and my friends are like, wait, what's going on? Am I missing my child? Like, what's really going on? But that's cool. So, you know, being a father, you've obviously learned, and you've had to adjust to so many things. What key things have you learned about, you know, just being a father, and how have you implemented, you know, because in life, a lot of things link. I don't think people actually take time to sit and analyze the situation, but a lot of things actually just come together because being a father and some of the things that you learn from your child, you might even be able to implement them in business or in your day-to-day life to actually, just like even emotional intelligence. You get to, you treat your kid a certain way and you realize, you know what, humans are so delicate, they want to be treated like this. Maybe if I try and treat my employees or some other people this way, it might actually work and better the relationship. So what are the key things that you have learned as, becoming a father, and how have you implemented them in your day-to-day life?
So, yeah, with kids, there's a lot of delicacies. They're very intricate. It's the little things. And I remember, like, when she was still a bit younger, maybe like 18 months ago, we then noticed with my sister that she actually communicates through touch. She likes intimacy through physical touch.
Okay.
So sometimes she wouldn't say much. She didn't have a lot of vocab then, but her communication was through touch. So if you want to assure her that everything is fine, you just hold her. Or you, like, for her to actually feel comfortable enough to sleep, like whenever I would pick her from school, I would just sit with her and hold her, and then she would just feel enough peace to just, and it happened maybe 80% of the time. So it's things like that where you learn this child wants to be treated this way. And there's been times where, even now, where I forget that she's in the room or something, I'm having a conversation with my sister, when she comes and she mentions something and I kind of brush it aside, and then 30 minutes later my sister is letting me know the child is actually now not okay because you ignored her that time, and they've now kind of adjusted to some of the things that are specific to Glory. So now I know when I'm speaking to her, I'm paying attention. I'm listening to whatever she's saying. We have to connect. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's something very simple like the neighbor did something, or she was wearing shoes like this or something like that, I pay attention and listen because I know what's coming after my ignorance. Yeah, I'll be in trouble definitely. So I think with kids, it's the little things, and I also then notice, like you're saying, you can implement some of these things even in grown-up situations where if you ignore someone, of course we're now adults, so we have to be grown up about it, but connection is an important thing. You have to be able to connect with the person in the same room with you, and you have to acknowledge their presence. Even if it's a child, it's a grown-up, just acknowledge people's presence because they're carrying energy and you're also carrying your own energy, and if you are rejecting them, even if you're not saying it with words, they will notice it. So kids notice things like that. And I'm saying this even remembering when we were still together as a family, even when she was a year old, she could sense the energy in the room. When she noticed that mom is not well, sometimes she'll do something that just eases the tension in the room. So kids are smarter than we think.
True.
And it just acknowledging their presence, acknowledging even with your own energy, not just with your words, is an important factor.
There you have it, guys. Uncle Will just learned something new. I'll have kids soon.
Okay.
Hopefully. Okay, so who have been your father figure role models, if any?
Yeah, so I'm not this person I am by mistake, or I'm not that smart. I'm a product of a lot of good men who have poured themselves out into me. Men I've observed, obviously starting with my own father. He's the only parent I've ever known all my life because my mom passed away when I was 3 months old.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. So, yeah, he had to, cover for his wife who was no longer around, and I was still a little child. I was also taken care of by my aunt at her house, and then only moved back in with my dad when I was 5 years old, which he would come through, he would come by and he would do what he's supposed to. He's an old-fashioned man, so his way of showing affection is different from what I would do. But I definitely learned a lot of strength from him. He's been strong we were 6 kids then, with just a father, 5 older sisters, and I was the last born. So just that situation alone, and him being able to balance everything out and still have a good home, a decent home, and still bring us up in the knowledge of God, and raise us up in a very godly home, and none of us became wild. We all turned out quite all right because of him. And as I grew, I then also became a very church-centered person because of my dad. And then in the church also there were father figures. I always looked up to the pastors of whatever church I was in as a father. And first, initially it was Pastor Chiriseri, who then passed away. Then I moved to New Life, and Bishop Bismarck became my spiritual father, and he's been for quite a number of years now. I've had the privilege of even traveling with him. So even through that, you have personal conversation with him where he's pouring out himself to you, not just at a pulpit level, but at a personal level. You get access to some of the struggles that he has also faced. And he's more expressive. So unlike my dad, who's like reserved and is bottled in and is like a strong man, Bishop Bismarck is more expressive, and his love is shown through how he even physically hugs kids and things like that. So I learned that side, a more emotionally expressive side from him, and just being able to be there for his own kids and keeping his marriage together. They've been together with Pastor Chichi for close to 4 decades now. Wow. So that's already a great example to try and emulate. So I've always looked up to him, and him and my father have been a great support system even through the loss of my wife. They were there. Having them both on either side was enough strength for me to be able to stand through all that. So yeah, I'm standing on the shoulders of very great men.
We can see that. We can see that. That's because I know you personally, obviously. Okay, so now we're at a point where you've grown up and you had fathers. You didn't have your mom, which was unfortunate, but also look how you turned out. So you can definitely be a testimony that it's okay with one parent. It's okay with both parents. And for some people, they've turned out pretty well with no parents at all. Mm-hmm. But because this is a Father's Day special, what message would you have for those people that don't have their fathers at the moment?
Well, one of the things that I have acknowledged is that we have parents, we have siblings, we have family through our biological, you come from a certain family. But we cannot use biology to shut out the love that surrounds us, because there are a lot of people who have been a support system to me without even needing to share the same surname with me. So one of the things that I always say is that embrace the love that is around you. Don't shut love out just because you're not sharing the same name with someone. Because someone might show you fatherly love and never be related to you in any way. They're related to you just by being a human being. We are all part of the human race, and we are connected that way. Whether there's blood connections or not, just like I said, everything is energy. We are all, you are carrying your energy, I'm carrying mine. And us coming together doesn't need a biological stamp to say Will and Mark are related, so they will connect because they're related. No. Love is what connects us. Embrace the love that is around you. Whatever situation you find yourself in, just take it all in. It's good to take in nature, to take in just the sun, appreciate the sun. There's places in the UK where they don't have sun. So appreciate the love that is around, whether it's from a person who's related to you biologically or not. And also return the favor. Love on someone. And this is Father's Day. It's good to appreciate any father that you meet meet, we've all been, like they say that an African child is raised by an entire village.
That's true.
So even your neighbor who's been a father figure from a time when you were a toddler is someone who deserves your appreciation because they showed you something about a father. So it's all about embracing the love that is around us and also returning the favor and loving on someone.
You know, with that being said, I remember growing up and my parents saying to the next door neighbors, even to people at church, if you see my son being naughty, discipline him.
Yeah.
At any point,
Yeah.
don't be shy, discipline him. I give you full authority.
Okay.
And I found myself well behaved anyway, because I'm looking around. So I see elder, whoever from church, okay, hey, that's the next door neighbor. So, you know, it does really take an entire village to raise a child. Do you think society is doing enough to raise good fathers?
It's a
hard one, eh?
It's a tough one. I do acknowledge that the Institute of Family has been broken down in the best way possible. There's like an agenda to break down the unit of family. So in that regard, there's a lot of attacks on families. Families are breaking down over silly issues. The lockdown should have helped people become more intimate and be able to live with each other, but in many cases it didn't. People can't stand each other anymore. So if we're looking to technology or social media to keep family intact, we might be mistaken. We might be wrong there because just looking over the past 2 years, there's a lot of divorces that are happening, separations and things like that. And it's all just breaking down the order that God set, that the man is supposed to be the priest of the home, the wife is supposed to take care of the house, and then the kids. That order, and Christ being the head of the home, that order has been broken down, and it then messes up with a lot of fatherhood and it being a cool thing to just be a father. It's cool to have a child that is proud to have you as a father. So just there isn't enough intentionality when it comes to just trying to keep it together. The rest, let's fight it as a unit. Let's be united as a family first, and then those fiery darts that are being shot against the family, they're easier to shut out if we are together as a family, if we keep the order and the father is still looked up to as the father of the home. Because sometimes you have men who are not looking forward to going back home because the home is just in a mess. There's a lot of things that are breaking down what should be something cool that we should all just be trying to emulate. But I think there's need for us to go back to the basics, to just maintain that same order where children are just obeying their parents and a husband is loving his wife, and we are all just respecting each other. Respect is thrown around the house in a way that maintains that unity, because all we need is unity, and where there's unity, God commands a blessing, and love flows easily when we're all on the same page. So we need all that to come back. We go back to the basics, and we just move away from this trying to live a fake life on social media, and we go back to, like I said, acknowledging the next person in the room. If it's a child, just acknowledge their presence because they're expecting something from you, and you being on your phone flipping through Instagram pages, you are ignoring your child, and from that moment the child is distancing themselves, and now someone else is going to father your child for you. It could be YouTube. They could be learning stuff off YouTube where you should have been covering that. So let's just go back to the basics, bring back the unity in the home, and let love flow.
So together everyone achieves more. That's what they used to tell us. And the great thing about this is our theme is stronger together. Talking about being together, a legacy is not built by one person. Most fathers think that they are the ones that have to spearhead the legacy, but if it's in the name, then it's a team effort. So with the respect and love and everything, we can really, build a legacy together. But most fathers will go out and they nowadays they call it grind, and then kind of neglect their kids, neglect their wife. How have you managed to, build a legacy? Because I know for a fact, in a couple of years' time, if we had Oscars here in Zimbabwe, you would be pulling out one. But how do you balance that? Building a legacy for glory. Because I know for a fact that's something that, for me, that's something I want to do. Because my mentor always used to tell me that legacy stands for let every generation after celebrate you. And obviously, which is something that you are working towards. How are you balancing that, the legacy part of everything of being a dad?
Okay, so before, because we were a team with my wife, I didn't have to overly worry about what I was doing in the moment in terms of legacy for glory. Because I knew that we were together working towards something as a family to live for our kids. But then now, when I say this, I'm talking about even the music I was doing. I was more concerned about providing or trying to, grind, like you're saying. That was definitely my focus. And like you said, it's so easy to get so caught up with trying to provide for your family that you forget and neglect the same people you're trying to provide for. And you also forget that they could actually help you in whatever you're doing. You could do it together. So I had a bit of a separation between our legacy as a family, which is what I was trying to grind to provide for, and forgetting that what I'm gifted in is music, and we could all just participate together and create a legacy within that. So that's why now, like everything that I'm doing, whether the album that I'm working on, which is almost ready, it's all about my family. It's all about the legacy. It's all about what the name, the generations that are going to come after me, they will know that we had a grandmother who passed away, and our grandfather did an album for her, and it also included glory. So that's what I'm thinking about now, whether it's my the record label that I run or whatever else that I'm doing. I'm thinking of how my child is involved. Is there a trust fund that we're setting up for this child that has stake in these organizations that I'm involved in? So that's where my thinking is now. It wasn't there 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but sometimes it takes tragedy for you to open your eyes and say, guys, our time here is we're living on borrowed time. So there has to be something that you are living for the people who are coming behind you. And it doesn't have to be, it's not like set in a specific way. It's not cast in stone. It's the thing that you're gifted in. If you are gifted in talking, how does your child then fit into that legacy? I'm gifted in music. How does my child fit into my music legacy? So that's definitely where my conversation is now.
Okay, so as the president of the cool club, now you're a cool dad. Now you're a cool dad.
Thanks,
so,
man.
A little birdie from the Orange family told me that you have produced a song for Glory.
Yeah.
What inspired you to make the song for her?
So, as I mentioned before, before you become a father or before you reach a certain stage with your child, it's like, am I even ever going to be able to handle this? When it's still just a pregnancy, you're like, will I be able to love this child? And then boom, when she comes, you like fall in love immediately, and it's like your heart enlarges. There's now a new compartment that, has enough love for this new being, and it's like a wholesome love. It's not like you're cutting a piece of you to love this one and then the other piece loves the mother. No, there's enough room in your own heart to accommodate this new being. And when I saw her, I instantly fell in love. I was blown away. I was swept off my feet. And I'm like, okay, this child is cute. I definitely am convinced that my child has always been the cutest. From the time she was like a day old, even up to now, I think she's just the cutest. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So I wrote a song which talks about that. about how I run out of words on how to describe how I look at her and see the beauty in her. She's like my little bird. She's the sweetest, she's like a dove. So that's the song that I wrote for her.
So has she listened to it yet?
No, she hasn't.
Wow.
She hasn't, and I'm looking forward to, telling her that I made a song for her.
Does she listen to all your other songs? Does she have you on repeat all the time?
Well, they definitely look, whenever a video is premiered, they definitely watch it. Even when she was still like a year old, she would watch some of my stuff with, for example, Zim Praise, Janet Manyoa, whenever we are being beamed on TV and stuff like that. And then she would remind her, that's your papa.
That's your papa.
And she would obviously be very excited. And so right now, I can't wait. I can't wait to now introduce her to this song, which I wrote for her.
Look, I am excited. I am honestly excited. Hearing you speak about your daughter is actually giving me pressure right now, because I feel like maybe I should
feel the pressure.
Feel the pressure? I'm feeling it. But anyway, look, you and I, we can talk for hours and hours, but look, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today, like just being a part of the Father's Day special, the Orange family. And we do have something for you. We can't just let you go, we can't just let you walk out without something. So as Medorange, Orange family, we just want to say thank you. We have put together something. I'm coming to borrow this. But anyway, we've just put together something to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for just being here, sharing your story, and just being open and honest and real, which is what we are about. And we look forward to listening to your song, and you, Glory, your whole family, and us as Medorange, we definitely will be stronger together. So,
thank you. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you're blown away.
I'm blown away. This is great.
Now, thank Medorange. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Gula Kachere. We were with Mark Madzinga. Happy Father's Day to you guys.